what can we do as Web3 native people to help onboard and guide 1 billion people into Web3?
There's a lot of people you need to talk to, businesses first and authority, because it's going to be hard to get to everyone without getting them on board first.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 9th episode of Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship. My name is Lam. I'm your Web3 host, as usual. The guy who loves Web3 and loves talking about Web3. Here with me today is Théo Madzou from Wagmi Studio. He's a CTO of Wagmi Studio. Theo, can you give a quick introduction about yourself?
Yes, so as mentioned, I'm the CTO and co-founder of Wagmi Studio. So Wagmi Studio is like a Web3 development agency based in France. We've been in business since late 2021, mostly working for large French corporations on blockchain-related topics, especially NFT.
Nice. Okay. So, before we deep dive into your company, I think everyone's probably quite curious to know more about you as a person. Can you maybe quickly walk us through your upbringing, education background, and leading up to the current position?
Well, how far should I go back here?
How far should you go back? I think it's up to you. I mean, I would say that go as far back as possible to kind of until it portray who you are, right? So I think from the moment when it began to form your personality, I would say, so that's up to you.
All right. So I was born and raised in France, like in the central area. I don't think a lot of people would know, but for French people, it would be Tours. I think probably know that city. I've been always kind of curious, very self-learning kind of stuff, personality since very young. Within primary school, I was like always trying to learn new things outside of school, and also try to draw like some like stuff, like for example machines or stuff like this. I was kind of like curious and trying to be a bit creative. My mother was in the creative side of the graphics, and my father is more on the medical side as a doctor. But I think I took a bit from my mother and some other part of my family side, artistic side. But I'm more of a logical guy, which is why I eventually moved towards more like computer science and art sciences. I think the first time I got to touch a computer was probably in when I was maybe, I would say 10 something.
Early.
Yeah. And it was early, but it could have been earlier because my father was actually adamant that I don't touch a computer early, so I would be away from screens.
I see.
In my age.
Do you think your father was your father afraid you would be playing video games, or he would be like, I don't know, wasting time?
I would probably like this. I think he had like a perception of like those kind of device, like computer, console, something you would waste time on. I had that impression later in life. For example, the first time I got like Netflix membership, so they were releasing friends. It was quite critical of it, but it was really helpful for me in the end because that's the primary tool I used for learning English, those things, and also other things when the first time I got a console and stuff like this. But I do understand the principle. Personally, I don't think it's good just to be in front of a screen when you're 2 years old, 4 years old. It's not really good for you.
It's true. Yeah.
And so before I got to touch a computer, I was already interested in the way nature works. As a kid, I was like into, we say, meteorology, climatology, like how the weather works, like trying to understand. And when I got to a computer, I kind of took that passion for understanding stuff into understanding how a computer works, how I can build stuff with it, how I can create stuff with this. And pretty soon I started to code applications around 13 years old, like middle school. And the first thing I did which is kind of like weird, I don't think a lot of people did that as a first entrance into development, is Windows Phone. Now, I can explain why.
Sure.
It may sound weird because Windows Phone being under very popular. But I arrived at a time where Windows Phone was just released. It was empty. the store was empty, so I saw it as an opportunity to create something and put something in like a desert. Like it's like a desert that you need to fill. So there was a lot of opportunity. So I took it. And I took it some simple. I was very young and I was not very experienced. So that was a nice way to start with like not much competition. And they were actually very successful. So I got myself known a bit in the ecosystem. And then eventually I switched to Windows development, like Windows 8, Windows 10, Windows 11. So all this was in C Sharp. So C Sharp was the primary language I used. But eventually I got into computer science school after my high school. And that's where I eventually made the switch to web development, which I found more flexible, and Windows Phone was coming down. Like, it was not big. It was kind of dying. Today is dead, pretty much. And I switched to JavaScript. I started to use Angular. But then I switched to React, which I'm using today still. Tried React Native for mobile apps, cross-platform. In the middle of my study, I met one of my business partners. His name is myself. We were like doing internship in the same company. He's from more like a business administration school.
Okay.
I'm from the computer science school, but we just ended up in the same company during one summer. And he had an idea that he wanted to build. First, he came to me asking me if I wanted to build a mobile app for him for a given price. To which I said no. Now, the reason why I said no is that I was not interested in shorting. And a few days later, he came to with another offer saying, how about being business partners instead and building this together? I pondered a bit and I decided to say yes. And from there on, we built our first product together, which was more in just marketing, regular Web2 development, nothing to do with Web3 at the time.
What was that project? What was that project?
So it was called Weasley. So the
Okay.
weasel.
Okay.
Kind of like animal, small white animal.
Yeah.
And it was influence marketing. So the idea is that it was a mobile app for iOS and Android. People would be able to find restaurants or like shops, and they would get like a discount or cashback. Actually, they would get cashback if they shared posts on Instagram about that shop. So like they would be able to promote the shop and get some money back. So that was the first product we ever done. It was not a success. It was hard to get traction. The main problem with this is that you need to both interact with the businesses and the consumers. It's a consumer-facing app, B2C, but B2B at the same time as well. So it's hard to manage both.
Yeah.
And so that was 2017. And also one point is that in 2017, at the same time that I met myself and my business partner, that's the same time I first got interested in crypto. But we did not go into crypto at that time. I was just like playing around, trading, investing. I remember that at the same time doing that internship because I was having a lot of free time because I was doing stuff very fast. I ended up trading on, I think that was
Kraken. Okay. Okay.
And I tried Coinbase as well. One of the main trade I was doing was Ripple, XRP.
I see. Wow.
Yeah, and you know, like that kind of stuff you get into when you about it.
Yeah.
But it was actually pretty good. I got it pretty early. It was like 20 cents or something, and I sold around $2 like later.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh, you did well, yeah.
But it was a good trade. Some others were not that good, but it was good.
Wait, how did you first learn about Web3 or like about crypto or blockchain? Like, did someone introduce you to it?
So I remember like when I was in there was one of my classmates in computer science school told me about how he was like starting to mine Bitcoin, and I was like, sounds weird. I'm not sure I would join that. Hey, repeating like he tried to show his like setup and like how he was like getting, because like he was like in the mining pool. And he was showing like all the different mining pool he put his money in. I was quite hesitant because, you know, like when you're not into the space, most of the information you get is from outside, which is pretty biased. So I'm kind of reluctant to get into it. But when I was in my internship, some other people too were investing. So I felt, yeah, maybe I should give it a shot. So eventually I did. And after that point, I also read the book Mastering Bitcoin.
Oh,
I
I
think
know
it
that book.
was, yeah,
I know
yeah.
that book. Yeah.
So I think that was a good introduction to how blockchain works. That was my first starting point on a technical perspective, trying to understand more the technology. I also touched a little bit of Solidity at the time, like there was,
Hmm.
I think Solidity 0.4, so that was
Oh
still
wow,
pretty early.
very early. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't do much, and I remember at the time you didn't have all the tools that you have today. That I
Hmm.
tried later on when I came back in the space. You had to have your own node running on your computer
Yeah.
to be able to use it. You didn't have all those node on services, Alchemy, Infura, and stuff like this. But there was a lot of setup to be done just to be a developer. So it was too big to entry for developers. And apart from the fact that the language was not as developed as it is today.
Hmm.
Uh, and so what was just to put some time like time frame here.
Sure.
So this was in 2017.
Okay. 6 years ago. Yeah.
So this, yeah, so that was just before the big bubble of 2018, when it crashed in February or
Mm-hmm.
March or
Yeah.
January. So that was just before that. After that, I mean, you know, when you get tricked, like I did make that profit on XRP, but I got like some others when I was good. So after the bubble burst, it kind of
ICO, right? ICO
demoralizing.
bubble burst. Yeah.
Actually, regarding the ICO, I only invested in one single ICO. I
Okay.
didn't really do a lot of ICOs. No,
Hmm.
actually, two. I
Okay.
did manage to do the EOS one.
Oh, EOS.
No,
Okay.
that was actually not the ICO. I did the token after, not after
Okay.
the ICO.
Hmm.
The only one ICO I've done was some kind of like investment fund that would like use the funds to invest in other crypto and you would get
Oh,
some quarterly earnings,
got it.
dividends directly
Hmm.
on the wallet. I think the project still exists, but I never checked
Okay.
in if I'm
Got it.
returning
Got
it.
it. So basically, it's like a DAO, right? Like an investment DAO nowadays, they would call it. Yeah, something like that.
What was
DAO and
the
then
same thing?
sharing. Oh, very so. Oh, okay. Okay. Never mind then. Okay. Okay. Sounds like there's a lot of risk there, but anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was more like a hedge fund or like little
Got it.
family
Yeah.
fund style
I
with
see.
like regular five people,
Yeah.
more than that. It was
Hmm.
like very early stage, like very like before any major DAO you have today, like
Yeah.
because you have any investment. Um, and so after this, so we continue working on our projects, but that were completely related to crypto. But I kind of like left the world of crypto and like focused on Web2 development, using React and React Native for mobile. We built um, other projects along the way. Also, after 3 years of studies of computer science, I ended up stopping my studies, so my kind of bachelor level, and I went on traveling because I wanted to kind of get out my comfort
Yeah.
zone and
Okay.
do something
So
different.
you took a gap year,
Uh,
something like a gap year.
well, I just stopped my studies
I
because I
just
was
stopped.
like,
Okay. Put it on hold.
well, yeah, I put it on a hold. I traveled, but I still worked remotely because
Mm-hmm.
I brought my computer along.
Yeah.
So I went on a backpacking trip to Asia. Now, originally, I wanted to kind of go all around the world. Uh, I just ended up doing Asia only. So I kind of like improvised along the way. The reason why I started with Asia is because it's the continent I never went to before. So I
Mm.
went to Africa, I went to America, I went to many places in Europe, but never to Asia. So I was really curious of how it was because I had no idea at all. So on 8 months backpacking trip, first to India, that was quite a shock. As a starting point.
Yeah.
Spent 2 weeks there, but that was okay. I only stayed in Mumbai and I like it.
Okay.
Didn't feel sick. I was very careful about what I was eating. And then I went to Singapore, which is kind of like the opposite, very organized, very clean, very things like ordered.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
think
get a bit
it's the
boring at
cleanest
some point.
country in the world. Yeah, as far as I
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
yeah, it's very clean. I like, and there's like very nice attention to detail. Like, I like when you walk on the sidewalk, there's generally always a way that you can find cover. There's a
Yeah.
very heavily sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And at every single exit of the train, metro station, you have a mall. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
whole city.
Yeah. I think they're really trying to use the land, like, like in an optimal way, right? Because land is a
Yeah,
limited resource. Yeah.
and it was interesting.
Mm.
So I was traveling alone during all that time, but then I went to Bali for 1 month and I was joined by a few friends. So it was very enjoyable. Um, and then they went back and I continued my travel alone and I went across all Southeast Asia, Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Hong Kong, China, South Korea, Japan, and then I went back. That was quite interesting. At the same time I was doing that, I was doing still working on our project and doing some freelance, complete some of the financial need, like to have some more financial wisdom. Because like that's one thing about the entrepreneur, you don't have stable income, so you need to find income.
Yeah.
In this case, like freelance was a good way. Um, and after that, I come back to Europe, met my partners again, met my family again, and then I decided that we wanted to come to Asia, but only two countries this time. Actually, three. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Because I really like
Mm.
Japan. And that was 2019, December 2000. So
Okay.
3 months in Japan, in December 2019 to with the end of February 2019. I see the whole COVID thing unfold while
Yeah.
in Japan.
Hmm.
I remember vividly like watching that kind of like big boat, like the cruise ship in Japan
Hmm.
where the first cases
Yeah.
appeared.
The Princess Cruise, I think, something like that.
I
Yeah.
don't remember the name, but yeah, like, that's probably this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like kind of a bit mismanaged. And I was like watching closely what was happening in South Korea and Taiwan. So looking at what the authorities were doing and what likely decision they may be making. I had my flight already booked to South Korea,
Mm.
and I decided to cancel it because I knew that wherever I was going after,
Mm.
I was going to get stuck there
Yeah. You get locked
because
down.
they
Yeah.
would, yeah, not necessarily lockdown, but at least they would close the borders
Yeah.
and travel would become a bit trickier. Um, so I decided I will skip South Korea and I
Hmm.
booked a trip directly to Taiwan because I judged Taiwan would be safer.
Yeah.
So I went there. All right. 2 weeks later, they closed the borders. Um, I was planning to spend 3 months in Taiwan.
Hmm.
I was staying 2 years.
Oh, wow.
But I actually liked it. And
Okay.
my decision was pretty much right because like they closed the border really fast. They handled the outbreak pretty nicely. So there was no major outbreak for
Hmm.
about a year and a half. So no major lockdown or anything. So that was pretty much normal in Taiwan through the whole kind of pandemic.
What
So
I'm
that
just
was
curious. What, by the way, what visa did you had during that time? Was that like tourist visa extended multiple times, or
So yeah, it was like a visa waiver of 90 days, which ended up
okay?
being extended multiple times. And they kind
Okay.
of for the 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
But after around 1 year, I actually asked for proper residency, like their
Hmm.
program called the Gold Card. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, I don't think I know about it.
It's
Yeah.
like a it's like a special skill visa. So if you have like skills, or if you have money. So
I
like
see.
this two sides. Either
Yeah.
you can prove your skills, or you can prove that you have a certain amount of income,
Okay.
which is the most common option people choose. But I did choose the other one, which is like improving your skill.
Hmm.
And I ended up getting it after 4 months, if I remember correctly,
Nice.
which actually gave me 3 years of residency, and
So it's
it's
a working
still
visa.
valid.
It's a working visa. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Got it.
working
Yeah.
without any sponsorship by employer, so you're
Got
free
it. Yeah.
to work
Do whatever you
remotely,
want.
work for do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Hmm.
It's like very
Nice.
flexible. and it's actually still valid. It's valid until
Nice.
next year.
Awesome. So you can come back anytime. Yeah.
Yeah, if I wanted to, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so this is like personally what was happening with me. My business partner were in France, so they went through the whole lockdown with everyone, my
Mm-hmm.
family. But that was a major impact on the businesses we were trying to do. So
Mm.
that's where we were like starting to build like the new solutions still in influence marketing. But that one was focused on restaurants, like physical restaurants. So people had to go in the restaurant, scan a QR code, uh, make a story, and then we check the story, and if it's published mentioning the restaurant, they would be able to go to the counter to ask the staff for like discounts or free dessert or whatever, depending on what the restaurant wanted. So this required to be done physically in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And since the lockdown and all the restaurants were essentially closed,
Yeah.
well, the business could not operate anymore. So we kind of killed it before we got to actually, get traction. We did try to adapt the mechanism to delivery. It worked to some extent, but still, it was a bit hard to gain traction from the restaurant at that point. So we ended up like also abandoning that project, and we continued on trying to find new ideas. And in 2021, we ended up launching like a Web2 development agency
Mm-hmm.
with in partnership with an investor in Paris. So yeah, he had invested in multiple companies, and he had ideas of his own that he wanted to develop. So we helped him with this, and we helped some of his companies to when they had like technical needs. So we carried on doing this for a couple of months until we met with one famous French investor
Mm.
that has a certain reputation, extend on this, for Usanana. Now, I don't think you would know it, but French people most of the
I
time,
don't know. Yeah.
especially in the entrepreneur space, would know him.
Mm.
And he was interested to get into blockchain. So
Okay.
I've been talking for several years to one of my business partners when we collab about blockchain. We were discussing the possible opportunities. Uh, I wasn't interested to get into it again. So that was a great opportunity to like partner together and jump right into blockchain. And that was late 2021. I was still in Taiwan, and we ended up with him because he knew like a French pianist called Sofiane.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up doing an NFT collection for that pianist that was supposed to uh, bring him closer to his community, give his community advantages, benefits, real life benefits with the NFT that we bought, membership of the community around. So we did that collection, and it was quite successful. And that's kind of like what launched us into Web3 and created Wagmi Studio in 2021.
So
And at
did
that
you
point,
change the name to Wagmi Studio, or has it always been Wagmi Studio? Or did you change the name? How did the name come
so
about?
so the two previous companies were like uh, different companies that we ended up to dissolve. So this one was a
Mm.
newly created company.
Got it. Yeah.
So the other one was called Weasley,
Mm.
and we ended up dissolving it and
Yeah.
creating Wagmi Studio for the different. So that's what launched us into it. And when we got into that project, I got into it without knowing anything about Web3. I took
Uh-huh.
like a course on YouTube from what's his name? I always forget his name, but he used to work with Chainlink, and he has some free course on YouTube. Uh, like he had one with
Patrick Collins? Is that him?
Patrick Collins.
Patrick
Yeah,
Collins?
that's him.
Yeah. He's famous, yeah.
So yeah, it's quite famous. His course is pretty good. So it's like I jumped into it. I followed the whole course, and that jump started me into Solidity development. I
Mm.
was able to build the smart contracts and also the front end. So I did the website. we launched the thing in like just a couple of weeks, and it was up and ready. And then we were now into Web3 development.
Nice.
So what?
Yeah. How did you choose the name Wagmi? Do you want to explain to those who may not know what Wagmi means?
So Wagmi stands for "We Are All Gonna Make It." So it's a nice acronym that
Yeah.
looks like very common picture.
Yeah.
My business partner thought that that would be a good thing to have a common name that's common within crypto space, but not especially outside of it. So we went for
Yes.
Wagmi, and it has that interesting aspect because it's
Yeah.
common and used by many people. Sometimes people confuses us with others,
Yeah, that's true.
and sometimes it just brings attention without us looking for it. It's kind of interesting because there's other solutions that one of the most commonly known for the by developer in Web3 is Wagmi that I
Yes.
use
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
But we have no relationship to them at all. That we're not related at all to them.
Yeah.
But they're called Wagmi SHI. It's a very nice tool. It's very convenient for front-end development in Web3.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, which bring us to your current startup, Wagmi Studio. Yeah. Could you share with us more details about your company? Feel free to share any presentation or documents that you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna just share the website of the primary page. So here you have like the website. It's in French. So because our primary market is in France, we do have some clients outside of France, but
Okay.
primary market is in France. We may translate the website later. So essentially, we are like so I'm gonna go down here. So we are a Web3 development agency that provide services that outsource to companies that want to develop project in blockchain that don't have the internal resources to do it and they still want to experiment with it. So we mostly did that with main French corporations. So some examples are listed here. We got La Poste, which is the French post office.
Yeah.
So recently we launched a platform to sell NFT stamps for them. So they're trying to reinvigorate the stamp collection market by bringing NFT into it. So the idea is that you have, when you go on the platform, it's like more like Web2 stuff. So you connect using Google, like regular email password account, and you buy using a debit card because, well, that was their own bank. So we use their API. And you can just have a similar experience to Web2 and get your NFT on the custodial wallet that's associated to the website that you can transfer to a real address later if you want, to like your own address, not real, but like a self-custody. And you receive a few days later the physical stamp, which has the smart contract address printed on it and the token ID. So it's like more linked to the NFT.
Nice.
So actually I can show the website. So the website is this one. So it's actually, this is in English, but like, the original version is French.
Yeah.
English has been, like the other languages have been automated. There's like,
By Google or something. Yeah. API. Okay.
yeah, by DeepL. Yeah. I
DeepL.
think
Okay.
DeepL is slightly better than
Yeah, DeepL is better. I agree.
Google.
Yeah, I agree.
But like,
DeepL is better.
but I guess like it was to try to make it more accessible to people. It's not perfect translation, but you do get better looking at French. So if you go on the platform, you can you can stamp and add it to your basket.
Does a user need to have like a wallet, like a Web3 wallet, or no, to buy it, or they can just buy?
No, it doesn't have to because essentially we have like the custodial wallet, which is auto-generated when you create your account.
Got
So
it.
this
Yeah.
is like it's on Tezos. So
Tezos. Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah.
So you can transfer it out. So for example, if I go to my NFTs,
Yeah.
do that, I can make a transfer to another. That can be on the platform or outside the platform. So if you want to have it on your self-custody wallet, you can do it.
Nice. So cool. So you guys handle basically everything for them, right? Like the website, smart contract, a little bit everything, right? Obviously.
Yeah, we handle the front end, the back end, the smart contracts, everything technically related to the product. We also worked on collaboration with L'Oréal, Pernod Ricard, Chanel, the Red Cross, the French Red Cross, PMU, which is a horse betting company, FDJ, which is like the French lottery, Monoprix, which is like a supermarket chain, or Casino, which is also.
I think I only know the two international names, L'Oréal in French and Chanel. Yeah. What did you build for Chanel?
So in the case of L'Oréal and Chanel, it's more like the other service we provide, which is like training within the company about blockchain. We're trying to get the employees of the company or the collaborators to learn more about blockchain and what use case you can have. In the case of L'Oréal and Chanel, they can definitely see some use cases for that, especially in the aspect of like digital scarcity, which goes very well with the idea of luxury. So that's why it would be effective.
Interesting. So obviously big companies are exploring with Web3 space and what they can do, right? I mean, see that,
yeah.
So were you working with the IT department? Is there a Web3 department? Or who were you?
So we did work in collaboration with the IT department, especially on the when it comes to like the bank payments or other aspects that we had to deal with regarding like to be able to ship the stamps to the right address, the physical one. But we did like have some flexibility on the rest of the infrastructure. So that it's more easy to manage on our side. I can show some. That's the project. This is like the one from PMU, so like the horse betting company. So we built the website for them and the smart contract. So like the front end and the smart contract. We're not working on that project anymore, but the project is still going on. And we have them like in their like mint, like the NFT mint to them, where they sold about 6,666 NFTs. So it was quite a success for them. And another example of project would be Pernod Ricard. So this is like an alcohol brand.
Yeah, the wine company. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's actually Pastis. It's southern French alcohol made with anise. It's very strong. Not a fan of it.
Really?
It's like it requires an acquired taste.
I see.
People in the south of France tend to like it.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of it. So generally mix it with a bit of water and there you are. So they wanted to do a project like more like internal to celebrate like an anniversary and like distribute the NFT to the community. So we have build the website and the smart contracts for them.
Nice. How many people are working in your company now? Maybe you can walk through us a bit on that.
Yeah, I'm actually here with the team. So you have me here, like CTO/CIO for Chief Innovation Officer. My other business partner, Jeremy, which is on the also co-CTO, so he's like more on the back end, and also Web3 developer. So all the tech, all the developer in Wagmi Studio are capable of doing smart contract, but some are more focused on front end, some are more focused on back end. We also have Maxence, which is when I first met back in 2017. So he's our COO, business strategy, and the business development. So trying to get more clients, like this. We also got Jean-Nicolas, which is our CEO, which is also on the strategy and business development. Also trying to get some clients on this side. We have Sophie, which is our main project manager. So she keeps everything ordered when it comes to project management once we are working with the client. And we also got, I can show him on the website. I think it's here. Yeah, we got Olivier, which is like our backend developer. Those are like more like partners. So they help us on some projects. He helped us here with Wagmi Academy, which is like a platform to learn about Web3 in French, mostly meant for clients, but it can be open to anyone. And we're gonna welcome soon like a new developer in front end. So that will make it all 7 permanent employees. But with partners, we can go above that.
Got it. So basically 7 main full-time employees and plus some partners and external contractors, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Cool. So you guys do full stack Web3 development and also training. Is there anything else that I should be aware of? Or those are the main 2 services?
So the training is like just to specify is mostly like so general concept. It's not like training for developers.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like training people, teaching them about the use case of Web3, right? For example, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and like how companies can use Web3, things like that. Okay.
Other thing is that for the past few months, like I mean, personally, I've been starting to get invested into ZK, so zero knowledge proofs. And we're starting to look for use cases in that industry specifically, especially on the privacy aspect of ZK. So it's like internal R&D, so that we can find some use cases we can do. So I've been participating to some events in hackathons specific on ZK or like general hackathon in which I've been building ZK projects. So for example, ZK Hack Lisbon was like in late March this year, where I built like a project called Fruity Friends.
Okay.
So,
What does it mean?
Fruity Friends. So it was like essentially, so we use like the idea of fruits. So if you want to summarize the idea in one single sentence, that would be dating privacy preserving.
Okay.
So the idea is that you would have preferences and you want to match with people that have the same preferences as you, similar preferences, but you don't want preferences to be known. So you can make proof that if someone has the same preference as you without putting your preferences.
Interesting. So basically, I guess they can see your preferences, but without seeing your name. Is that right? Something like that?
They would see your name and all the details, but they would be able to match only with people that have the same preferences or like a certain amount of common preferences without actually knowing all your preferences.
Okay. I see.
So you keep your preferences to yourself, but you will be matched with people that are more similar to you. So that's where the privacy aspect is. So it keeps your preferences private.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. What blockchain did you develop this on?
So this is like, it was independent of any blockchain. So like the idea is that we used it was like
Noir, yeah.
language, to make ZK circuit.
Yeah.
Noir can be technically used with smart contracts, but for now it's very early. So they only have a sandbox with Aztec. So Aztec is the one behind Noir. And they're currently building like a layer 2 where you can use Noir with smart contracts. But for now, you can't deploy anything. It's just a sandbox you can run locally and you don't have any testnet or anything later. So at the time we did this, that smart contract stack didn't even exist. And it was Noir purely for ZK seconds. So you can generate proof on the front end, like using React, for example, and you would be able to verify it on any app using JavaScript. So that was purely like out of the blockchain. You could generate Solidity smart contract like an actual verifier of the proof, and verify the proof on chain. They did provide that already. But like our solutions didn't really use the blockchain. We did generate the Solidity contract, just to verify, and we deployed it on Scroll. So
Okay.
the testnet of Scroll, because at the time the mainnet
Yeah.
wasn't released, it was
True.
released very recently. So that's what we did.
I see. Did you build the front end for it? Was there a front end?
So we built like there was very simple front ends where you would have like two sides of inputs where you would like put your preference and like check for if there was a match. But it was like more like a very small proof of concept because like the hackathon was just 2 days, so you didn't have time.
Yeah.
But we did try to build like a more interesting UI, if global pass.
Okay.
So like a UI on top of that. For now, it's a project still pending. We may investigate and try to have a more complete MVP. See how it goes.
Interesting.
In a few.
So do you see it turn into like some sort of swiping app or so? For dating app they have all the swiping. Yeah.
You could imagine that, or you might also want to make the concept a bit different because that's one thing I've been arguing with my business partner and other people is that bringing privacy into an application is not on its own enough of a competitive advantage to outsell something else. So if you build ZK-Timbre, which is exactly the same, but with privacy to every aspect, this doesn't mean you're going to win over Tinder. Definitely not.
Yeah.
You need probably something else, like a concept that will attract people outside the privacy aspect, so you can sell it. Privacy just is a good thing, but it's not enough. It's not something that sells.
That's a very interesting point. Yeah, I would say that privacy is more like a feature in that sense, right? It's not really a key defining value proposition, right? Because I know that for a lot of dating apps, if they want to gain like market share, first of all, well, they have to look at what is in the market, right? Who are the competitors, right? How can they make the other competitors switching from it? But usually when people switch, there must be some reason, right? For example, if they dissatisfied about the service, maybe because they don't get any matches, for example, that would be one. Maybe the matches qualities are too low or whatever, some other reason, right? And yeah, those say switch. So those are like business reason, right? That does have nothing to do with whether you're using ZK privacy or all the fancy technology. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of things to fix in the way dating app works. I have some ideas of how you would do that, but this is completely dependent on ZK, and actually using privacy makes it rather, especially with ZK, difficult to engineer because it adds a lot of obstacle, especially in terms of performance and what you can actually do.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine doing something leveraging ML. They already leverage ML for dating apps, and I'm sure,
Yeah.
but in a different way. You do have ZK, but using ZK now is a bit more challenging than using regular.
Yeah.
Because like the one main problem about ZK now is that if you want to keep the privacy aspect, you have to run it client side.
Yeah.
And that really constrained the amount of computing power at your disposal. Because then really you're gonna run those models on a more powerful server that can handle much better computation. Has a much better computation.
Like you need some GPU, right? GPU, yeah, graphic cards, yeah.
And you do, and especially when you consider that dating apps are completely entirely using mobile phones. Now you need to leverage whatever you have on the mobile phone in terms of computing power. It's not going to be very extensive, so that's a bit of a problem. You do have another alternative, which is FHTML, but that's even less developed than ZKML. But the idea of FHE, which is fully homomorphic encryption, is that you can send encrypted data to a server, for example. The server would be able to do operation on this encrypted data without decrypting it, and then send it back transformed, still encrypted. You decrypt it on your side, only you can decrypt it, and you see the result of the transformation. But the server wasn't able to see at any point the clear data. So that's one way to do it. You can apply it to ML. You would be able to do that and still do the machine learning processing on the server. So that's not ready to use just yet, or at least not for high performance.
I see. Yeah. So I think we're probably still quite far away from applying a lot of those ZK tools into daily application, right? I would say.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer, but for now it's still like a bit challenging. Even beyond that, as a developer, it can be a bit challenging to find which solutions you want to use. I mean, that's a general thing too as well, because like there's so many different languages, so many different proving schemes right now.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you want to do something in ZK, you have to figure out which one should I use. It's not that obvious. There's many different interesting choices to choose them. It's not just make it. It's not that easy to make.
Yeah, it's true. So I think it's a number of choices get so overwhelming. Yeah. Anyway, let's go into the general discussion. You can quit the sharing screen if you want. So, you mentioned a lot about ZK. I think it's quite interesting. I'm quite curious now. What is your take on ZK, and what do you think would be one or two application that would actually require the use of ZK to make it a defining or value defining feature for the app?
I think main use of ZK is regarding identity.
Okay.
So you have different ways you can use ZK in identity. One simple type of ZK is like proof of humanity. So you can like generate a proof of humanity, and the most known and popular application of proof of humanity at this point, which is not appreciated or actually liked by a big chunk of the ZK community, is WorldCoin.
No.
Pretty sure you've heard about it.
I've actually heard about it. Yeah, I have a WorldCoin ID to say yeah. So
you
I
did
know
find
WorldCoin.
you did find the orb somewhere to be able to scan your iris. Where did you find it?
Yeah. This was at the East Global Tokyo.
Okay. So you
so
scanned it during a hackathon.
hackathon. Yeah, I think they went to like many major hackathons, right? And then they just scan.
You can scan it there. But I remember like I did use WorldCoin SDK during East Global Paris, and there was a bug. You couldn't use like the developer portal without actually scanning your iris. You shouldn't have to. You have a way to create a developer account without scanning your iris, but for some reason that weekend it didn't work. So I was like, I went there, their booth asking like, can you solve this? And I was like, I'll be looking into it, but I'm sure that if you scan your iris, it's gonna work. And I was like, I'm not ready to scan my iris yet. I'm not going to get forced into it just to use your solution. Well, the thing is that we didn't actually find a way around it, and my teammate didn't scan his iris.
Okay.
So we could get into the portal.
So someone have to sacrifice the privacy, right, for you to build a solution during hackathon. That's a price you have to pay.
Yeah, that was the other way. We did get like a bounty from them. But,
okay, well that's good. At least,
right?
Okay, I know, right? Yeah, privacy. It's hard to put a price on it, right? Your own privacy, yeah.
I mean, the project itself, the idea is noble. I do think that the iris is a very interesting thing to use to identify someone as human and identify them uniquely. For example, if you take the digital fingerprint, if you have like a fingerprint, it's actually going to be the same between two twins. So there can be some issues. Like iris is always unique, even between two twins. So it's like, it's a very nice way to identify someone as human. One thing I've been wondering is like, what if she's kind of the iris of a chimpanzee?
Good question.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But
wait, why?
It's actually, I think there should be differences between the iris of a human and a monkey that's strong enough to be able to differentiate it. I'm not sure how big it is.
So they probably have like some AI, what is it, like image recognition pattern, right? To work on that, right? I'm guessing. Of course, I don't know.
They definitely like recognize the pattern in the iris, and use it as a way to generate a unique ID.
Okay.
I think they should be able to tell if, like, statistically, a given risk doesn't fall within the human range. It's like
Yeah.
belonging to something that's not human. You should be able to tell. Anyway, you would have to bring like a chimpanzee and the org and ask them to
Give it a
say
try, right? Yeah. What if you bring an image of the chimpanzee eye, right? You just like put the image in front of the, I don't know, the eyeball and the orb,
I
and
don't
then
think
would it
I
work?
don't think
No.
the image will work because it has to be 3D. So I'm pretty sure it has to be like
Okay. So it has
three-dimensional.
like spatial recognition too,
Yeah, I'm
in a
pretty
way,
sure
right?
it's going to
Yeah.
detect like difference in depth. So it
Got
can't
it.
get that out of an image. So it
Yeah.
won't work with an image.
Okay. So they do
But
use like some sort of AI machine learning algorithm in that then. Yeah.
yeah, they do use another way. They say
Hmm.
they use so they said they use ZK for the process, and that most of it is open source. I haven't checked it.
Hmm.
The main problem is like with itself is the device. You cannot be always 100% sure that the device is never keeping the data and sending it somewhere. You can check the open source software if you want, but the device is always the problem. This can be a bad.
Hmm.
But I don't think there is. So that's a matter of trust.
Yeah.
Um, the solution itself is really nice because like proof of humanity is really something we need. That would solve a lot of problem, uh, especially regarding civil resistance or
Yeah.
applications, because you could reduce like spam. Like actually,
That's true.
in the solution I was mentioning, pretty friends, it would really help us to have this kind of proof of humanity that's easy to use and reliable enough. Because one thing you can imagine is the kind of attack when someone will create a bunch of fake accounts
Mm-hmm.
and try to guess the preferences of someone by narrowing down one by one.
Hmm.
So you could have an attack doing this, but if you have like a proof of humanity that you can only create one account per human, then you would like mediate that possible vector of attack. So maybe there's other ways to fix this, but that would be one nice way to do it. And there's many others problems that can be solved with humanity, so it's really important in the Web3 space, and it can be also used. There could be other way to generate proof of humanity from your reputation you build online,
Hmm.
kind of activity you build. You can like try to generate proof of humanity out of this, but for now it's like still something in the middle.
I see.
Other thing that you could build is like an actual identity system. Have you heard of Polygon ID?
Yeah. I've heard of an
So,
idea.
so, so the idea of Polygon ID is like you have like credible issues, like authorities that issue some certificate that says you something about you. Like, for example, you could have the state issuing some identity about you that say you are born at a given date, that you're born at a given city and this given country. And you can accumulate this, you can claim that ID and put it in your Polygon ID, and then you can generate ZK proof and all the certificate you have received from
Hmm.
credible issuer and generate ZK proof to reveal only the information you want to read. So instead of
Hmm.
showing all your documents, you just extract only what you need. So if you, for example, go on a website that asks you, are you over 18 years old? You just
Yeah.
generate the proof that you have an age that's over 18 without showing your age or all the rest of your document information. So this could be very interesting if you want to like digitalize the idea of identity and kind of like have like a single point of reference that's all private to check any kind of information.
Yeah. Yeah. I can totally see that, right? Because I think, yeah, proving the age, proving, I don't know, your birth country, right?
Yeah, that
Proving
could be
some
very
other,
useful.
yeah, proving some other interesting things about you. That would be, yeah, I can see a lot of potential use case for that. Or
Because
even,
right now
hmm,
when you do this kind of proof, like you have to use the document, scan it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
send it through like a KYC verification system that has to keep
yeah,
that passport on their server, and you
mhm,
trust them to keep it safe. And if it leaks, then you expose yourself to potential identity theft. And that can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah. What about the problem of like fake documents in the first place? Like someone just, uploading fake documents of themselves, right? Do you think can ZK solve that?
I mean, this is not like a problem like specific to, you can like be able to check fake documents, like that's kind of an implement of it. I think the best way to generate like a ZK identity documents would be to digitalize the identity documents in the first place. Or like you have some countries that have like private keys directly in their ID card. Like in Portugal, in what they call the Carta da Cidadão, they have like a chip that you can use. You can use a card reader, link it to a computer, and like be able to check the authenticity of the card using the private key. I'm not sure what kind of encryption system they use, like, but what kind of public key system they use.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. And I think in electronic passport, but I'm not sure they use something like say for making the communication between like when you scan your passport, like
like
electronic passport gate,
yes,
airport.
Have a chip,
So yeah,
and it's like internationally recognized. But I think that have to do with like setting international standards, right? Yeah. Because if you have to set.
Yeah, that's another thing we need if you want the technology to be widely usable at a certain extent.
Yeah.
But there's some people in the industry that are looking and like working on setting standards. Because first you need to set standards within the industry, and then you can come up with those standards and try to present them to authority, so that you can find like a common ground among different actors in different countries.
Yeah, it seems very tricky problem. I don't know. Yeah, settings and yeah, and I know that setting standards for anything would take like a long time. Right? It's not something because there's multiple people have to agree, right? And then like I don't know, like they probably have to also not verify, but also write in a proper legal language or whatever international standards language they use, right? So it's not something.
And the main problem nowadays is that technology goes much faster than politics.
Yes.
So it's very hard to have like this to get things done in the right way.
Yeah.
Because like technology is always faster than politics, and politics
That's true.
is always like several years or like even a decade before late. That's something we probably need to fix as well. Especially when it comes to AI. Because AI is going to go much faster than politics. Even more than crypto.
It is, yeah. Especially since the birth of like open AI, yeah. Things have been like exploding. Very fascinating. Anyway, for your company, Wagmi Studio, actually, one question I forgot to ask is like, what are some of the challenges that your company face?
So, I mean, right now we've been in the market for some time. Our clients, they don't care as much about the market, so it was okay, but we do feel that after some time, especially when you focus on like NFT specific projects, the traction kind of the hype, the interest, like start to fade away a little bit.
Yeah.
So which is also why we're looking into other opportunities like ZK, which I see a lot of potential in the future with it. But we also try to develop more like our own products, so like more like venture style studio, not just agency. We got some projects in the pipeline we're trying to develop.
Nice.
Using ZK or not, blockchain related. But yes, any company in crypto.
So basically, you guys are building like in-house products as well.
Yeah. So we're building some in-house projects. We've got FG, for example, which is like born out of an observation of like what some of our clients they need. So it's a platform that would allow HR manager to issue NFT as a proof of achievement for the employee. So like, let's say an employee has fared pretty well this month at given times. You would receive an NFT coin from their HR, and then it would accumulate more and more, which can set a record of their history of the company. And essentially, it can also act as a proof of career because you do have like an actual proof that you worked at that company and that you did perform as you say you did. So you can now just essentially learn more as easily about your
Yeah.
CV. And that's the common problem you find about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, people can claim about whatever they want, and it's going to be actually going to be pretty hard to check. So you
Yeah.
can pretend to be working at a given company or I've worked at a given company. You take that at face value, and that's hard to check if it's true or not.
But I think when it comes to credential like that, don't you think it would rely on who is a person or the company behind the credential? Like, let's say if the HR person issue the credential, right? You have to trust the person who issuing it to actually telling the truth. You know?
Yeah, I mean, at some point when it comes to human relation, you're always going to have a trust score. It's like in the case of Polygon ID, you trust the issuer.
Yeah.
You have that idea of that trusted authority.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just in some cases it's actually pretty hard to have no trust at all because
Yeah.
after all it's something that's engineered on humans. So it's still like very linked to human society. So at some point someone has to be the source of information.
Yeah, it's true. It's very interesting conundrum, if I may say so. Right? Yeah. Who to trust? Like, do you trust the person who give the credential or the person who like claim that
But yeah,
credential, the owner? Yeah.
to me, I see blockchain as something that can reduce trust. But like the idea of 100% removing trust is like a very difficult thing to attain, and I think maybe
Yeah.
particularly impossible. Because like your system, when you build a system on top of blockchain, is as trustless as your weakest link. So if you say like you use like a lot of trusted system, but at some point you just use a custodial wallet, then all the trustless architecture that's built on top of it is like just falling back down on your trusted custodial wallet system. So it's like it's as strong as your weakest link, essentially, in
Yeah.
the chain.
That's a good point. Excellent point. Thank you. And yeah, which brings me to, I guess I'm quite curious about the future now and how you think about it. What do you think will happen in Web3 in a few years?
So what I see about Web3 is like definitely the rebirth of privacy thanks to ZK. So like a main obstacle today for people to use beyond like wallets usage, like it's kind of tricky to get hold of your seed phrase securely or your private key. So this aspect needs to be improved. You have the contraption, you have other solutions that are being worked on. You also have the privacy aspect. So right now you have like a bunch of addresses, pseudo anonymous. It's not completely anonymous because with statistic analysis you can guess where it's coming from. At some point you're going to put some like money from an exchange, and from there you can guess where it's coming from, or like other hints can show up in those kind of analysis. So you gonna end up with like addresses that can be somewhat linked to you with essentially say like where you can see all the assets you have.
Yes.
All it's like you can see the wealth of someone publicly. There's no privacy. You can see all the transactions he makes, all the transfer he makes. Now, in comparison to the current banking industry, TradFi, they're centralized, but do you see all the transactions made by everyone? Do you see like all the amounts of like someone's bank account, like any random people? No, you don't.
Nope.
So if you want to compete with that, you have to bring back privacy onto it. So, which is why I believe that ZK will still remain public in blockchain, bring back privacy on the table. Now, I know everything is going to be private. Some is going to be public, but you do have to bring the privacy options on the table. So you need to be able to use private transaction to have a private state. It's like And I think that this is why I believe more in, like in Aztec. So like Aztec is the layer 2 of
Yeah.
Ethereum.
Mhm.
And they have like this idea of hybrid rollup, like ZK rollup, fully ZK, not just validity rollup, but like or like ZK rollup, as some people say. And you can have both public and private interactions, public, private state. You can have a shared state. You can mix the two. And so it's up to people, it's up to developer to choose what they want to make private, what they want to make public. So, those options, yeah, the best of both worlds and make more private preserving solutions with them. And I think it's really important for the future of the thing. So you have wallet usability, privacy. You see this performance, but that I think it's something that's more easily solved. And like all the wallets we've been built are using the thickness of snarks and starks, like not the zero knowledge aspect, but like the purely like bundling aspect of it.
Mm.
What else do you need for Web3? Maybe like more social thing, socially related, like not like technical thing that we need to be solved. Is that have something like a community, like a crypto industry that's more cohesive and less petty on general, like attacking each other for no reason. Because like sometimes I can feel that people just like um, criticize another project or just shit on another project for no apparent reason. It's just not necessary. Like have a more constructive competition. You do need competition, but just not be too childish about it. It would also improve the image of the overall industry. Because like sometimes it feels like you get into a kindergarten. So when you just get into crypto and you see that, you kind of like a bit like turn.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, which bring me to my show signature question. What can we do as Web3 native people to help onboard and guide 1 billion people into Web3?
Well, you do have like all the points I made, and after that, to get them into it, this is there's a lot of people you need to talk to, businesses first and authority, because it's going to be hard to get to everyone without getting them on board first. I mean, they're going to be reluctant. They were with the internet.
Hmm.
I mean, I remember like I think I've listened to that podcast with what was his name, Lex Friedman.
I like Lex Friedman. Yeah.
Lex Friedman from
Hmm.
what was it? What's the name? Like,
Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg.
no, Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Anderson.
Mark and Andreessen. Yeah.
He,
Okay.
yeah, so he was mentioning the fact that when he launched Netscape, so he had an encryption mechanism that he couldn't actually use outside the US because there was restriction on cryptography tools outside the US, but they couldn't export it outside the US. So it was only fully secure in US at first, and then they were able to use it later. But you had to work with authorities, convince them that you should make that tool more broadly used. Because right now, when you go to the authority or when you go to people that not know about crypto, the common saying is that crypto is used for criminals and stuff like this. This is an easy things to be said.
Yeah.
They've been they were saying that for the internet as well. It's supposed to be used for criminals and not for everyone. It's not for everyone else. So it's an effort of convincing that should need to be done as much as it was done for the internet itself. So it's going to take time to talk to the authorities, regulators, businesses, convince people, and then eventually that way you can get more easily to the consumers. Going directly at the consumers is a bit hard. I don't think they're necessarily going to care. They need to be, you need to go through businesses and authorities that can then bring the solution to everyone. That can help you at least bring the solution to everyone.
Interesting approach, actually. It's like first time I've heard about it. Yeah, and I think it quite makes sense, from what you're saying.
But
Is that
on the consumer side, we do have like a work of UX improvement to be done. Like you need to improve UX. You can do all that stuff with businesses and like authorities, but if it's still not very easy to use, it's still going to use different solutions.
Yeah.
Now, the thing, another thing regarding crypto is that it's also a matter of what people like, what choice they have. So in less developed countries, banking is less accessible. TradFi is not as easy to access. So crypto is a easier choice to make because they don't have much more alternative in this case. So they can use crypto more easily. So it's less of a convincing you need to do to push them to use it. But in developed countries with a fully fledged banking industry, TradFi system that anyone can use, and nowadays you can easily invest in stock exchange in like European or United States, European countries or the United States through your like a mobile app or even directly with your bank, like with Revolut in Europe. So it's like this little barrier to entry. It's very convenient, very easy to use. So it's hard to convince to use something that's less easy to use or like less convenient, even though it's decentralized or more technically elegant. That's not enough of a selling point for the average consumer. So it's like it's going to be harder to sell in developed countries with well-established institutions than in one less development or less established institutions.
I like your way of thinking. Actually, and I have to agree with all of it because it's true that I guess it has to do with how much pain is a customer is having, right, in order for them to
Yep.
switch, right? But there is in economics. I was majoring economics and mathematics in university, right? In economics, there's a theory called it's not a theory, but there's a concept called like switching costs. It's basically like the cost it takes to for consumer to switch from one brand to another or one app to another, right? And it has to be big enough, right, for them to jump from one to another. Or you have to be like super dissatisfied. I don't know, you get very bad service, for example, from a restaurant, right, and you jump to another one, right? And then, or maybe the fees is outrageous, right? So the same in I also see the same thing in like you said, if you have a lot of these Web2 payment system that's already working in places, like why would they switch to like some of the Web3 with very clunky and not easy to use, not user friendly UX at all? But even though the benefit is like little, so it has to have somewhat of a has big enough pain or So I think there's a lot of barriers we need to overcome as Web3 native builders.
Because that's sometimes the trap people in working crypto, I guess, tapped into, that you see the potential of the technology, you see elegant it is to implement that current banking solution online, but you kind of lose touch of the reality of what people actually want to use or what people actually need. So like you should not start from the technology and try to build a product. You should start to see what people need and leverage the technology to build.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of like where you start. Start with the people, start what they want, and then build leveraging the technology. Don't start the technology and build something. Maybe I can trust people. It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. It's a very common problem in tech, right? You see all these fancy technology, and you're like, "I'm going to use this," but like, I think you should begin with the problem first, right? The problem. Sometimes, like, I think we all heard of this, right? Like, solution in search of a problem, right? It's actually a problem also, because a lot of these technologies are also searching for some sort of problem to be solved, right? So it's probably better to discover the problem first. But sometimes it could be very difficult.
When you
Yeah.
solve real pain,
Yeah.
people are really want to use it.
Correct.
It's also something important in general, like beyond crypto. When you
Mm-hmm.
build a product, don't don't strive for perfection. So if you have something of real value, something that really solves pain, you can start with a very cheap interface.
Yeah.
If it brings the value people want, they're gonna use it, and then you can incrementally improve it. And also, it saves you a lot of time if the product doesn't interest anyone, because essentially you can see it straight from the get-go. And if it does, then you can implement and incrementally improve it over time.
No.
Get it better, improve the UX, improve the UI, so you people, you can offer them more income, and it's easier to scale using better workforce.
Exactly. Fund your team, hire more people, do BD, do marketing, do whatever you need that you couldn't do before, right? Yeah, or scale up also. Yeah, infra, many things.
It's easy to get stuck into the idea of doing something perfect for the first version.
Yeah.
In software, I believe it's not necessarily just start with a proof of concept and see how it goes. See if it's a product market, and then later we can see.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Okay, so just two more questions from my side here. I think you already probably share some of the advice already, but is there any other particular advice that you like to share for people who are trying to begin their own Web3 company?
So general like entrepreneur advice or like specific to
Both, I guess. Yeah, both. Yeah. Maybe on some share some of the lessons if you have any that you have learned.
So lesson is that you're gonna fail multiple times. We did with like some of our products. But the core idea is to know when you failed and to move on. It's like not get stuck on a product or project that will not sell and just wait time on. So learn how to realize when you failed and then move on. Learn from the mistake eventually. That's a very common. I guess many people. Uh, Another thing, uh, Web3. Don't get trapped into the bubble. We will try to work in Web3, but still have like an open eye to others and what people really want. Try to bring Web3 to the masses instead of building product specifically for only Web3 gigs. Like what I see with DeFi, people building like slight optimization on top of what already exists, but I can only use degens.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but it's a very small.
Mm.
What else?
That makes sense. Yeah,
What?
I guess sometimes maybe I mean for some smaller startups or company, you have to begin kind of from a niche, right? Like a
Yeah,
small niche,
yeah.
and then slowly like branch out to multiple groups, different groups.
Actually, like regarding niche, if you want to have if you want to find something potential, you can start with a niche, but that can become much larger later. So I can just like you identify what is niche today, so there's no competition, or like it's very early, there's a lot of potential. You get yourself into it, you focus on it, and then as the space develops into a much larger market, then you're like at the forefront. So that's instead of like jumping into an already big market, it's gonna be much harder to get yourself like. It's like
I see.
if you start with this like you start with a small pie, you take a big part of the small pie, and as the pie grows, you keep your large pie and your important self. While you have like a big pie, you just get yourself a small like a small part of the pie, but it doesn't grow much. It's like the idea of diminishing returns.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Awesome. Awesome. Where can people follow and learn more about you? Any social media handles?
Um,
Yeah.
yes. What can I share? Like I have
You
a
can just
Twitter.
spell it. You can spell it, and then I will put it in the show notes. Yeah.
Okay, so that would be Theo. So that would be Nadztheo. So on Twitter and Telegram, the same thing.
Okay.
Really sure the same one on Telegram.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'll make sure to put them both in the show notes for people who would be interested. And I know that you guys are always looking for new clients, right? That's correct, right?
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
open to new clients. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think I'll put it in the show notes for people who may be interested in getting to build a new Web3 products. Yeah. Connect with you. That'll be awesome. Yeah. Well, it's been a very fun and super intellectually stimulating for me, discussion. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today, Theo. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting.
Awesome. And we are back to my studio. It was an eventful night episode with Theo, the CTO of Wagmi Studio. I have certainly enjoyed listening and talking with him, and also learning a lot about him, his life, and also his background, his Web3 thinking. I do think that he will go very far in the Web3 world. For the next and the 10th episode of Colors of Web3 and Entrepreneurship, we will be talking to Devon Sun and Huiling Zhao. They are both working in the Web3 gaming world. So if you enjoyed this episode, please give a like and subscribe up here. It would mean a lot to me. And thank you for listening, and see you next time.